What's up, guys? It's your boy Darskin, and today we're going to be talking about the best teams for Eren, Levi, and Mikasa as far as the Attack on Titan collab. Now, I know I said the banner is a skip, but I know a lot of you are not going to be skipping, and I wish you all good luck. If you pull these characters, I want you guys to be ready to be able to build the best team for these characters. So I'm going to be breaking down what each character's best team is, what they're used for, best case scenarios, blah blah blah, this, that, and the third. Now keep in mind, these teams are not going to be hard to build. They're not going to be something that's out of the ordinary. I'm not going to tell you to build like some random unit that you've never used before. So most of these units you should have built, so you should be good to go. So anyways, let's go ahead and switch over. Starting out with Eren, right? If you guys don't know, Eren, green unit, he has the same attack card as Green Escanor, 240% damage, 300% fills ult gauge by 1, 500% fills ult gauge by 2. Then, obviously, 120 disables ult moves, 180 disables ult moves. Now, obviously his ult, he transforms and he gets buffs. And then once he transforms, he does a whole bunch of damage on top of that, right? We got it. Also, his passive increases damage by 10% for each ultimate move gauge orb this hero has. And then his other passive, immune to ultimate move disabling effects. Cool. Eren's best team is it's a fusion of mono red and ult rush. This team right here is going to be Eren's best team. If not one of the best teams for him, simply because you are able to utilize Gowther and Arthur's chemistry to getting Eren buffs. Not to mention the level 3 buff is really deadly. Adding that along with like ult food and Merlin to rush his ult as quick as possible is going to be very, very beneficial for you. If you use ult food and Merlin, you're going to start with 2 ult gauge. If you use, let's say you get a fusion, right? Because you're going to have Eren on the far left. Let's say you get a fusion of this card right here. So this is a level 2 card. With Gowther rank up, you get ult. You have ult. Because using the card gives you ult gauge. And you get 2 more for, for the skill card. The card passive. So, you automatically off rip, you have ult. Very, very good. Now, obviously, they can take ult away. But the thing about that is, even if you can't ult, having as much ult gauge as possible is super good because of Eren's passive. He's going to be having more damage. So even if he's not transforming, he's still going to be having damage when it comes down to him and the, him and his passive. So this team is going to be the best team for him. Now, obviously, you don't have to run this team if you don't want to. If you want to be a little bit more tanky, you could run something else. Keep in mind, Eren is a human, so he does get Arthur's passive. So if you wanted to run, let's say, Hauser in the 4 slot, you can. If you want to run anybody like that, you can. Like if you want to run Red Griamore for the passive, it's cool. You cannot run Twigo simply because Eren is not a red unit, so that won't work. But if you wanted to run Hauser in the 4 slot, you can. But best case scenario, you run Merlin, ult food with Eren, Gowther, and Arthur. So you can hurry up, immediately ult rush as quick as possible, and then get straight to the bag. So that is Eren. Now, talking about this Eren right here. This Eren right here is not a unit that you're going to be using as far as PvP, PvE-esque type of content. Now, no, he's a really good unit. He's a really good unit. He just doesn't really go on any teams. If you look at his passive, increases damage dealt to unknown race by 30%. The unknown race units are Benimaru, Gowther, Hawk, Merlin, Milim, Rimuru. Now, the only units that are used are Merlin and Gowther. And out of those two, neither of them are priorities on any of their teams, necessarily. So, his passive is not that beneficial when it comes to that, right? So, yeah, that's why Blue Eren's, his passive is not that bad. Well, I mean, it's not that good, excuse me. But Eren as a unit is not that bad. He doesn't really fit on any team, so I'm not going to be really talking about him. He's more of a support character, secondary-ish character. He's not going to really be your main primary damage dealer. You can honestly throw him on any team. He just fits anywhere. He's that type of SR, which he's an SR. Like I said, you're not going to be using him that much, so whatever. Now, moving on to Mikasa. Mikasa, her best team is going to be normal ult rush, right? Just raw normal ult rush. This, boom, this right here. And the reason why I say that is because number one, Mikasa does not do that much damage base at the start, right? On top of, this card doesn't really do that much damage either. She has to scale. If you look at her passive, for each other ally that receives damage when attacked, increase the hero stats by 3%, up to 10 times. So Mikasa needs to be put around characters that are a little bit tanky. Now King already has UR gear, so he's going to be really tanky. On top of King's passive is giving him 8% to his stats, base stats, so he's going to be tanky. On top of, Gother naturally has high defense related stats, so he's going to be tanky. On top of King having heal cards that you can also use Gother's rank up to keep them alive for a good while. So you are basically able to prolong the battle enough for Mikasa to stack her passive quite a bit. Now I'm not saying you're going to get at all of the stacks every match, but you do want to be put with characters that are more tanky compared to everyone else. Not to mention, King and Gother are two of the units that have the most cosmetics in the game. Gother has 3 cards. Gother and King both have 3 cards that have UR outfits, right? So that's 3 UR outfits. On top of, they both have final boss outfits. So that's 4 free UR outfits off base, right? So they're clearly going to be a lot more tanky compared to a lot of the other characters that don't have as many cosmetics, don't have as many dupes, because you can dupe them out the coin shop as well. They're just 2 of the more tanky characters in the game compared to everyone else. Now, the reason why you're running raw ult rush is because you do want to also get those rank ups for her, because she's going to be doing more damage the higher card rank her skill is. On top of her ultimate. If you guys don't know what her ultimate is, increases her base stats by 50% for 3 turns and inflicts 420% damage to one enemy. You want to get this buff as fast as possible so you can start nuking down people, because once she ults, for the next 3 turns, she's going to be dishing out dumb damage. So Gother is going to be helping out, because if you rank up, obviously the card does more percent damage on top of her passive, on top of her ult buff. She's going to be really, really good. You have that King for that cleanse support. Because say you get Mikasa's ult and they petrify or something, you can have that King support in the secondary for you. And then Merlin plus ult food or whatever is obviously going to help you get your ult as quick as possible. So, that's Eren's best team. Eren's best team is obviously the mono red ult rush mix. Mikasa's is just normal ult rush. Now, I saved the best for last because I know a lot of you guys love Levi, so I went ahead and put him at the end. This is a really, really good thing about Levi, right? And I know some people are gonna be like, "Oh, Darkskin, I need to know." Listen, Levi is the only unit out of all of these units. Well, not including SR Eren, because he kind of is, but whatever. Anyways, Levi, out of the 3 SSRs, Levi is the only unit that is self-sufficient. And what I mean by that is, Mikasa needs allies to stack her passive. Mikasa needs to get her ult gauge, which get her ultimate. She's not going to be able to do that by herself, necessarily. Eren needs to get his ult off. And then after getting his ult off, he needs to attack a lot more. He's going to need support for that. On top of, his ultimate form has Amplify, so Arthur's going to come in. Gother is going to come in for the rank ups as far as this card right here getting his ult gauge. So Eren and Mikasa both need a little bit of support, a little bit of help. Levi, he crits the enemy with the lowest percent HP. If all enemies have the same percent HP, he crits all of them. He has Spike, which is double crit damage. He also has an AoE that gives him lifesteal whenever he crits. And then he has an ultimate that cancels buff stances, does good damage. Levi is self-sufficient. He has survivability with his lifesteal on the AoE. He can crit on his own. He can do damage on his own. So Levi can debatably be put on any team in the game. If you want to rush his ult and one-shot people, be my guest. If you want to put him on mono red just so he can get super buffed, because he is a human, and so you can run Twigo in the 4, Hauser in the 4, you can run Arthur, etc. If you want to run him on mono red, be my guest. If you want to run him on pin team so that he's doing dumb damage because of Lilia's passive, etc., be my guest. Levi fits on all of these teams. Now, if I were to pick a team that I feel like he'd be really good on, well, I'd say either pin team or you could easily go mono red. In my opinion, I feel like mono red is going to be the best case off of him getting passive buffs, right? Because between Arthur passive, Hauser passive, Twigo passive, etc., I feel like he's going to get super buffed off that. But if we're talking pin team, that extra pierce rate might make his crits do nasty damage. Keep in mind, right? A very good unit that you might want to use if you're using Levi is Death Pierce. Death Pierce passive decreases all enemies' crit resistance and crit defense. Now Levi is guaranteed to crit, but crit defense knocks down the crit damage, right? So he's taking away 30%. So if someone has 30%, he would only be doing 110% crit damage. But with Death Pierce in the 4 slot, he will now be doing max damage. Now, there's not that many units that have above 30% crit defense, but there are a couple of people. Crit defense, 50%, Valenti, which everybody's not going to necessarily be using her, but still. Escanor, 100% crit defense, right? That's both of them. If you look at, let's look at Merlin. A lot of people use Merlin. Crit defense. Her crit defense will be 0 with Death Pierce. If you go to Gother, crit defense 25. His will be 0. So there are a couple of units that have high crit defense. If you look at King, crit defense 22%. So people are the crit defense of an average person or unit is usually around 20 plus. So Death Pierce is going to make that 0%, giving Levi extra damage or more damage. So keep that in mind. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about this with all of you guys, let you guys know what their best teams would be, and because why, and all of that jazz. So you guys, if you wanted to build these teams, you could. Now, like I said, if you're running Death Pierce, you can just have Death Pierce level 60 and then run combat class food. You don't have to run anything crazy. But as far as Arthur, Gother, Merlin, King, all of those units should be level 80. So it's not like you have to build any new units. All of those units are already or should already be built, so you can just mix and match and make these teams how you see fit. So anyways, that's going to be for this video. Be sure to give it a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new, comment down below, tell me what you guys say in the comment section below. With that being said, I will see you guys next time. Peace.